Hey, Jonah, you are on mute.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. I was muted. It's a typical yeah, typical problem sometimes you miss. But hi everyone. I want to repeat myself. Thank you for tuning into our session today. And I was saying welcome to all of you. And today I'm doing the live hosting myself and Hokan in the background because he's having a sore throat and I want to rest his voice. But today we will be having a great session and a great speaker. I'm very happy to host her because it's not so often that we get a female speaker with us talking about Azure stuff. But before we get started, let me just share our code of conduct. So, in our community, we would like to remind everyone to be nice and friendly, listen with purpose, and be thoughtful. Be respectful to others, seek to understand and not criticize, and be curious and open to share your ideas, especially in the chat or even when you ask your questions, and even during our after feedback sessions. And be respectful and inclusive in your comments and questions during our events or sessions. And if you want to read more about our code of conduct, feel free to visit our GitHub link there and also contact me and Hokan for any questions or things that you want to know. And also, I would like to invite you for an after session fika with our speaker. And also, Hokan will also be joining us briefly in that. And I will share the link with this QR code later on after that. So before I bring our audience or our speaker to the stage, I would like to introduce her. So our speaker today is Audrey Menge. She is a software engineer at Turntable Ghana Limited. She holds a bachelor's degree in information in technology from Accra Institute Technology, and she uses technology tools like Azure, React, Spring Boot mainly to solve problems. She believes that cloud is the future and therefore decided to get Azure certified. Aside from her work activities, she is also a woman in STEM. She is an advocate and thus a member of several organizations like Microsoft User Group Ghana, Python Ladies Ghana, Developers Involved, which helps women to transition or enter STEM field during her spare time. And she likes exploring or visiting new countries, and hopefully she will come to Sweden someday. So let's welcome her on stage. Hi, Audrey.
Oh,
Hi, you're
hi.
live.
Am I muted or am I live?
Ah,
Am I
you're
okay?
live. You're live.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jonah, for the introduction. Was that really me? Because I couldn't believe so much to say about me.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
yeah.
I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Can you share about briefly about yourself? I know I introduced you, but where you're delivering your session from and what you're going to talk about today that might be interesting for our audience.
Right, sure. Thank you. So I'm Audrey and I am from Gabon and currently I'm a software engineer based in Ghana. So my session today, just to give you a little bit of context, is meant for people who have no prior knowledge in DevOps whatsoever, but maybe developers who are interested in deploying applications using GitHub Actions or Azure DevOps. So to give a bit more context, if you work at a startup, you are most likely to be the person to do everything. Just get ready to do a little bit of deployment, a little bit of testing, a little bit of everything, cloud. And so you can never really get ready. So this session is just to let you know that there is hope. Even if you are not an Azure DevOps specialist, you can still do that because it has been made pretty easy. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
the aim of this session. Yeah.
That's great. I'm excited myself because I recently got a new role in my job as a DevOps engineer. So I'm gonna, I mean, aside from coding, I'm gonna do DevOps stuff. So I'm gonna listen in the backstage for your session, Audrey, and I'll look forward. So are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Yeah, I have
Thank
a
you.
last question. Do you prefer your questions to be asked after your presentation, or during the presentation we can interrupt you or show it to you on the screen? How do you prefer it?
So you can they can drop questions at any time. I'm okay. Yeah,
To answer questions
thank you.
during the
Yeah,
session.
during the
Okay,
session. Yeah.
good focus. All right, so I'll leave the stage to you. Let me just share your presentation, and yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So yeah. So, hi everyone. Once again, this is Audrey, and I am so happy to be here. I had an invite from Jonah few weeks ago, and she was like, "Let's do something. Do you want to share your knowledge on my platform?" And she and Hokan were really supportive, and I was like, "Yeah, why not?" I actually ran into some little difficulties at work because I didn't have enough of cloud engineering background, but I was tasked to deploy an application, and I finally did it, even though I wasn't a cloud engineer. I am not. But yeah, I decided that why not giving a talk just to give hope to people who think that they need a particular set of skills to be able to do certain things. Yeah, so let's get into it. So let me just the next slide. So why do we have CI/CD? Just a minute. I'm running out of power here. So the first question that we want to ask is why do we need CI/CD? So per my experience, and this can you can actually challenge that. It's not the holy words. It's just my own experience based on what I've been through. So from my experience, um, it's just easy to get things done. So more context. When I was deploying my application, the application I'm currently working on with my team, anytime we made changes to our applications, we needed to rerun everything manually, upload the files manually, run the test manually. Everything was done pretty much manually, and we needed to come up with a solution, which is actually okay because there are a lot of solutions available based on your pipeline, based on your application. So the reason why you usually have CI/CD is just to have to be able to build your file as you go. Any change will reflect immediately wherever you want it to reflect to. Um, the tests are written once and they work all the time, so you don't have to. You just everything is set up in a pipeline and everything just runs safely. And there are a lot of tools available based on your use case. So the first tool that we are going to start with is going to be Azure DevOps, um, GitHub Actions, actually. And I have defined some few steps that I took in order to be able to deploy the application on GitHub Actions. So with GitHub Actions. So I hope I'm not speaking too fast. If I am, please tell me. I'll slow down. And sometimes maybe my accent can get you lost. And I'm really sorry. You just have to repeat. What did you say? Or if you have any question, just ask because I understand how having an accent can affect somebody's understanding. So yeah, first things that you need in order to deploy application on GitHub Actions is a repository on GitHub, basically. So far, this is what I have experienced. And again, you can challenge this because I know you are very curious. Don't take this as the last words. No, don't. You can always challenge it. So you need to have your code base somewhere, and on GitHub you just have your code base there on GitHub. Then you click on actions, and don't worry, we are going to go through these steps very soon. So, and the demo will be partial because there are some processes that take long. So the demo will be partial. And then you will add a home page. That will be the landing page that you use to deploy your application on. So whenever people click on that page or whenever they enter this URL in the browser, this is actually where they get access to your application. And we define that home page in the JSON file. Yeah. And yeah, we have to set it up in the JSON file. And then you will have to install a package, which is npm package for GitHub pages, because that's where we are going to deploy our website to. And then we need to generate tokens, because how do we get access to, how do we authenticate, how do we make sure that the repository belongs to a certain person? And then we just need a layer of security authentication to be able to securely deploy our application and access that application and have the right to modify it, right to update it, and the right to run our pipeline. And from there, we will update our YAML we will have a YAML file, and this will be done when we are generating the pipeline, when we select the deployment package that we want from the marketplace. We will actually have a YAML file part of it. So as soon as we select it, a YAML file will come, and yeah, we will just have to update it to suit our needs. And then we set GitHub pages to be the roots. So yeah, we set up GitHub pages to be the roots, so that this is where our application will be deployed to, on GitHub pages. And we pick, and actually a lot is happening in the background that you actually don't have to worry about if you are not a DevOps engineer. All you need to know is that there are solutions available to make your work easy. And this is all about tech. There is, I was talking to one of my friends yesterday, and he was telling me that there, there are no glories in going through pains when solutions are already available out there. So just use them. Yeah. So yeah, so as I was saying at the beginning, when we click on the GitHub Actions, I'm going to show you a couple of slides before we actually get into the demo. So when you click on the GitHub Actions, you actually see a marketplace, and you have suggestions, as in the deployment configurations that you need to go for. And because we are running a JavaScript application, we will go for the Node one. And then after that, we will see that there will be a directory created. And this is the YAML file that is auto-generated when you click on when you select the workflow that you want to implement. And then next, you have to, as we mentioned, we have to create secrets. And to that, you have to navigate your developer settings, create new secrets, personal access token, then you generate. I already have one. That's why I didn't need to go there. But yeah, this is one of the steps that you have to take. And then the next step, you have to create a secret, because, well, you need to keep these keys in a secret. So and it has to be specific to this particular repository. Yeah. And then this is how you save it. I'm not going to put the value out there, of course. That's why I have this slide empty. But when you generate sec- um, your personal access token, you just have to um, include this in here. Next, and at the end of the day, locally, we'll have to run this command, which is to install the GitHub packages. And sorry, at least it's actually the other way around. It's supposed to be npm install save GitHub pages. But no worry about that. Um, I already set it up, and yeah. And at the end of the day, this is how your YAML, locally, your JSON package, your JSON file should look like. So it should include the home page, our entry points, wherever our application is deployed to. And we will add 2 more scripts for the deployment. These are deployment scripts, the pre-deploy that will run before, and then the deploy one that will actually allow us to deploy our application or whatever changes that we made into GitHub pages. Right. So later on, next, and this is how the deployment um, steps will look like. So we will have to update it into our YAML file in order for us to be able to deploy our application safely. And at the end of the day, this is how our YAML file is supposed to look like. Don't worry, I will show it live in some few minutes. And yeah, so you have defined steps, and in the background, all these steps actually run in the background for you to be able to deploy your application. Again, I just want to emphasize on the fact that I know a lot of people they want to understand everything that's going on before they go for a certain solution. But I'm really just saying that if you need the basics, just go for it, because these steps have already been defined and it has been proven to be working. So you can give input, all right, but it works. So whatever you need to add to suit your own needs, just add it. It will just make you save some time and deploy your application even faster. So yeah, and then at the end, we will have to set up our GitHub pages route to GitHub pages, GH pages. So yeah, that should be it for, yeah. And if you want, you will, if you need to know more about which you should, if you are interested, you can actually go to the NPM packages and check out these packages. And yeah, check more, get to know more about the use and the different ways of using it. And yeah, that should work. And I think that's it for GitHub pages. And without further ado, let me just show you how it works. So let me just leave this place, and I'm sorry, I have 2 screens. So sometimes I'll be looking this way, or yeah, I'll be looking this way. I'm not away. I'm not running away from you guys. I'm just focusing on other things so that I can bring it up here. Right. So yeah. Now let's go to our repository. Okay, so let me navigate to my repository. Next up. I'm just going to locate it. It's not going to take so long. I have a lot going on over there, so let me just, sorry guys, don't worry about what you see. It's all good, I'm fine. Yeah, right, so this is the repository I'm looking for, and I'm going to open it in my VS Code to show you exactly. So I hope you can see my screen as I'm moving screens. All right, I can see it right here, right now. So right now, our application is deployed, and this is where it is deployed, and it's actually deployed from Azure DevOps. So GitHub Actions. So whenever I make changes, it's just a very simple application. I didn't want to go into something very complex the aim here is to actually demonstrate that we can deploy and modify, and all the changes can reflect. So here is my project, and I have it deployed already on GitHub with GitHub Actions on GitHub pages. So GitHub Actions is doing the magic for me, and I don't have to worry about anything. And I'm just going to make some few changes, and hopefully they will reflect here. And I'm going to show you the different processes that are going on in the background. And yeah, you should be, let's just do that. So now this is how our application is live. And now let me go on GitHub, open my application over there too, so that we can see all the changes when they occur. And I'm going to locate my tip. This should be it. Right. So now we have GitHub Actions deployed. As I told you, whenever you click on this button, you should have, but now we don't have access to the marketplace anymore because I've already picked one solution or one available configuration that was there. So you just have this workflow, and behind the scenes, this is what GitHub is doing. It's just doing the magic for us. Come on, like, you don't need to know how to use GitHub. So now let's go to our repository. Let's go to the local one actually, and let's go make some changes. Where is my, okay, good, great. So now let's go make some changes to this repository. And please ask your questions because we will soon be done. Is it already an hour? Okay. We started 30 minutes ago. So let's do this. We got this. So let's make some changes. I'm just going to remove one section. I'm going to save. And everything has already been set. And let me just go. So yeah, going to save it. Yep. So let me just run my normal git and push and git status to just verify. Always run your status, very important. So git add, I'm just going to add all because it's only one. And then git commit. Let me know if you also sometimes have issues coming up with the right commit. Let me just know, because the commit messages can be really difficult to come up with. So you just let me know. So I'm just going to, this is my commit message, remove section, I'll say, right. So, all right. And we can git, after we've removed it, we can actually push our changes. Do that. Okay, so no such changes. Git push. No file in our directory. Am I in the correct directory? Yep, I am. Yep, I am in the correct directory. Okay, so we basically need to push these changes. We need to, because then we can see them reflecting. So extension, let's okay, so VS Code local spawn that file directory. This is interesting. Just 1 minute, guys. Just don't worry about that. We'll get it sorted. Directory. Hmm. Could not read username. Okay, so for some reasons,
Hi, Audrey. Do you need help?
hello. Yep, I need help.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I was looking in the background. What's going on? I see that you're having an issue with your username.
Yep, I do not
Yes.
understand why, because this is supposed to be working.
Are you on? You're in Windows. I see the as password sh file here. It looks like it's trying to read. You're not able to push because it's trying to read. Are you on this right directory? Maybe
Yep.
what if you try to restart your VS Code just and see if it helps.
All
Um,
right, let's do that.
let's try.
Let's debug.
And then make sure we are in the right project. I
Directory
mean,
this
with
time.
yeah, directory where you have your changes in the file or something.
Okay,
Yes,
good. Let me just restart my VS Code.
this is one of the challenges with live demos, you know.
The
But
just
let's
in time.
yes, let's try to help. If it worked earlier, maybe it doesn't work in the live demo. It happens.
Oh, it does happen.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm just trying to I'll just open it with my Git bash. I don't know. And I'll try to open GitHub. I'll just try that because sometimes it works. Let's see if it works today. So I'm in
Yes.
the right directory
Hmm?
code. Let me just open my
Yeah, let's see if we can do this so everyone sees your big screen. That one. That should be good.
okay.
Yes. I'm doing talking or pair programming with you at the same time
Thank
hosting.
you. Pair
Okay.
programming is
Let's see.
actually the best.
Yeah, I know. I like it. I like it. So, those that are watching us live, bear with us. This is like a typical live demo situation. It happens if you're a public speaker and a technical presenter as well. So, yeah. But
Let
when
me
it
just
works, I'll leave you alone, Audrey. I'm just here to support you.
yay.
So you don't
Thank
feel
you.
alone. Let's try the push again.
Let's try the push.
Yes.
So it's initializing. I have a lot of plugins, a lot of things
Okay.
going on into my machine.
Yeah.
Let's push it. It should work. All right. So let me just quit. I like
Ah,
to make
yes. You
yes.
gotta.
Troubleshooting
You,
is
yeah, yes. I think like every one of us, like even the audience, should go on the stream and help Audrey. I
come
think
on,
we should do
people,
that.
join.
We should do a workshop someday. Like we invite everyone that's joining us, like everyone in live stream, and we do pair programming or
It was
group
able to
programming.
push now. Can you
Yes,
believe
yes.
this?
Great. Yeah, sometimes a restart does help.
Doesn't
Just
hurt.
like yeah, just like the internet connection. Sometimes you need to restart the modem. The power.
I know, right?
Okay. I'll let you do your session now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jonah, for passing by. Thank you. All right. So now we've been able to push our changes and yeah, let's quickly go to the browser and check our repository and we should see um, our build ongoing. So now let's refresh. right, 6 minutes ago. So you can see then when you go to actions, we can actually see the pipeline running all our jobs. Yeah. So it's actually getting all the change. This is the CI part. So we are actually getting all the change, all the push, the pulled, everything that needs to be done in the background. You really don't have to worry about that part because GitHub is handling everything for you, and as well as the deployment, and it's going to happen. So the session has been removed, so the code base has been updated with the latest changes at this point, and now we are looking forward to push this for these changes to be reflected on GitHub pages. So this was the site before, and I removed one section, which is one part of the site. So when I refresh, I'm supposed to see only one part of it. So let's do this, and yep, only one part of the site. So, and that was it. And I'm sorry, but for the purpose of this presentation, I didn't go with a very complex application. So I didn't include testing, but I know you are very curious. That's why you show up in this in this presentation or for this demo in the first place. So I know you are very curious and you are going to look into how to integrate testing and a lot more to make your experience even better. And 7 steps that we needed to take for this to happen, we'll just go over them again. So we needed to have our code base on GitHub, which is here. This is where our code is. Then we needed to go to the marketplace. So if I can just create a quick application just to show you the options that will come to you whenever you, let me just create a repository quickly before we go to the next part of our presentation, the next demo. So quickly, I'll just create a hello demo, and that's it. Let's add something basic just to show you when we go to the workflow and when we click on the GitHub Actions, quickly how it is. So now I've created a repository, and if I click on Actions, then I will be able to, you have a set of workflows that are predefined. You have the simple one. That's because they are, like GitHub is not able to see what kind of code I have in this repository because I don't have any. So you will just have at the marketplace, you can browse any kind of deployment packages that you want, anything. And this is where the marketplace is. I do not know about prices because so far I've not been exposed to something that I was going to buy or pay. But maybe, I don't know, maybe you could do more research if you are interested. But yeah, and if you if you decide to configure it, a simple workflow, you see that you have a YAML file that is already defined for you. And all you have to do, there are predefined steps for you. And all you have to do is to just add the steps that you want. We added the deployment steps because we wanted to deploy it on GitHub. And I know out there are probably already packages that allow you to do the deployment directly. So it's already included in the flow. So all the different flows that you have will have their own definitions or their own jobs predefined. So yeah, I know this was a quick one, and it can be really long if we take it step by steps, but basically that is what you need in order to get started with GitHub Actions. I don't know if at this point somebody has a question because we are right on time. We have some more cool demos to go to. You're unmuted, Jonah. You're on mute.
Yes. I'm sorry about that. It's like a mute stuff today. I don't think we have questions except comments by the way. But I would like to ask questions before we move to the Azure DevOps parts. If you have like if the demo that you have is something that you want to share to our audience or learners, or do you have any recommendations to those that are new in GitHub Actions, for example?
Oh yeah, I do. Thank you for that. So I'm going to share a link to an article that I actually that really helped me setting up all this, understanding the workflow and which one I should go for and why is it that it's predefined the way it is. And yeah, let me just share it right now. Now that we're on this spot.
Yes.
Uh, and there are a lot more steps included here, anyways. But yep. So yep. So that's
Okay.
this. And also this article should help. Yeah.
Okay. I will
Thank you,
share
Jonah.
it in our chat. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So now we have the next step of our demo, which is Azure DevOps. And we will have a little discussion maybe during our break in the coffee room, where we will actually continue the discussion around which solution is actually best for you, especially if you're a beginner. But yeah, before, let's get started with GitHub with Azure DevOps. Right. Good. So now let's go. And I have here my application, which is a basic starter application for React. And it is saying at the beginning, this is what it is saying. And I am going to show you my pipeline. So I wish I could go through the slides, but the steps are so many that I'm just going to glance through and have you know some few steps. So the first thing that we are going to do, let me go back to the slides. Yep. So we are now done with GitHub pages, and now we are. All right. So, well, no, let me just actually slideshow. So here, now let's get started with GitHub, Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps, there are way more than this, the steps, but I was just like, okay, at some point, I just decided that let's go through the steps a little bit more practical to not just get you lost in the talking. So the first step that you have to do is to take is to open an organization on the Azure portal. And to do that, obviously, you have to get an Azure subscription or an Azure account, not a subscription per se. And everything that we are going to do on Azure right now, it will be for free, totally for free, totally for free. And then you create a project. After creating your project, you can go ahead and create a pipeline, choose where your source code is, create a variable and upload your GitHub secrets to that variable. And then also we have the opportunity to grant permissions, because you will run through some errors and they are actually not funny. By this time, before this presentation, after running this demo again and again, I got into errors. And this is why so far, I would say if you're a beginner, you probably might want to go with GitHub Actions. But the two solutions work perfectly, and it all depends on your use case. But the two are actually perfect. Fine. So as I said, the first step is to create an organization, an Azure DevOps organization. So you just click on this Azure DevOps organization button. Then you will have you go to my Azure DevOps. That's when you actually have this button, see this button to create an organization. And when you click on this button, you should be able to name your organization. I already have one, so I created it here. So in there, you'll be able to create projects, because you need to create a project in order to actually create to have the possibility to create a pipeline. And you will have to choose from in this project. When you click on the pipeline button, you will have to choose. If you have existing pipelines already, you can choose to work on one that failed. I mean, I have two here that failed. If I decide that, okay, let me debug a bit more because I don't understand what's going on, I can just go back there, or I can go ahead and create a new pipeline. Right. So now when you create a new pipeline, you'll be redirected to this page where you'll be asked to choose where your code is. And for me, I'll choose GitHub because this is the platform. That's where my repositories are. So yeah. Now, after you do that, you'll be prompted. Microsoft Azure DevOps, Azure pipelines will actually want to give the permission to Azure DevOps pipeline to access your GitHub account, so that they can actually you'll be able to use the repositories that are there. And then after that, you'll be prompted to this page, because then you can select a repository, any repository that you like that is available, because now Azure has access to your repositories, Azure DevOps. Then after that, you can pick, when you pick a repository, you'll be authenticated. You will need to do that. It's just routine. It is normal. You will just have to. And then you'll be asked to enter your password. And it's a process that can take time, but if you're first time, it may be long, but after a while, it's just really quick. And then after that, you land on this page where you actually, based on the repository that you chose, you will be prompted to this page, and then you will actually grant the access to this repository, to GitHub. And the suggestion will be there. There will be many, but the suggested one is the one that you obviously clicked, and then you just approve and install the Azure pipelines to be able to build your pipelines and run them. And then after that, you'll be prompted to sign in to your Azure account. And from there, you have to configure your pipeline. And to configure your pipeline, you have, just like we had on GitHub Actions, we had different flows that we could pick from. So there are predefined pipelines that are their flows. So you can just pick any, depending on what you want. So yeah, for this case, I'll just follow what I did in the first place and just go with the Node applications. And then at the beginning, when you pick it, this is how your YAML file will look like. Nothing impressive, just basic YAML file, which we defined where the pipeline will be triggered directly from main, the version of your the version of your node. And this can cause problems, because if the version of your node, which will actually be, I don't know why it's not been updated, but for this particular flow, the version of node is really low. And I remember I ran into an error due to the fact that the version of the node is really low, like it's an old version. So we are now at 18, ish. Yeah. So when I change it to 18, it works perfectly. So, and the funny part is that you don't run into the same issue when it comes to GitHub Actions. You can just have any version over there, at least from 12 going, and it will still run. So yeah, more flexible than here. And also, after you do that, you will have to, actually, that's not my full key, so don't worry. I'm still safe here. You have to, this access token, you just have to set up access token, but this is not really needed for this place, actually. So what we are actually looking at is the variable. For the CD part, for the deployment part, we will need to make a connection to GitHub in order for us to be able to deploy our applications, our application on GitHub Actions from Azure DevOps pipeline. And here we have the flow that we have updated with this script that we can see, and we add the credentials, and we add our credentials, and then we add our GitHub. Um, we run the command, and we have actually a defined GitHub repository that we are sending it to. And this corresponds, I wouldn't say corresponds exactly, but it's just like you setting up, you allowing or being authenticated to be able to use and modify and do a lot on the branch with, you need a variable with your secrets, and this secret is the same that we had from GitHub. And I just want to remind you that secrets are valid for 30 days, so you don't always have to come up with a new one. It's okay to use one secret for a long time. Right, so, okay, so now we define a variable, and there is a convention for this. And the thing I like about conventions is like they don't get you lost in the process of whatever you do. If everybody is doing something the same way, then it's easier for you to then it's easier for you to not get lost, to get found ish. But yeah, you don't get easily lost because everybody is doing things the same way. Hi, Jonah.
Yes. Hi, I'm back on stage because we have a question from Samuel. Can I use Azure DevOps exclusively without hosting my code on GitHub?
Oh, that's a really good question. So far, I have not come across this, but I think it's totally possible, because Azure on its own has, you can actually create website, static web page right on Azure. So I think there might be a way for you to set all this flow right on Azure DevOps and be able to not even have your code seated on GitHub. No,
Yes.
you don't need that. You don't need it.
Yeah, can I add something if it's
Yep, you
okay?
can.
Azure DevOps itself has actually a repos sections where you can do all the CI/CD stuff. So if you don't want to host your GitHub code on, I mean your code on GitHub, then you can have it in Azure DevOps. So it really depends how the organization wants to do it, because sometimes you can have your repo in Azure DevOps, but the CI/CD is GitHub Actions. So it's like they can be working together. It depends on the preferences. But this is something that you, Audrey, is gonna share us which is which for which, if you know what I mean. But yeah, but thank you for the question. Go ahead, Audrey.
Thank you, Sal. Thank you very much, Jonah. So yeah, it really depends. You, like, there's a lot of flexibility out there, and what we are discussing here, it's really a single way out of thousands of ways to go about it. And yeah, there is this in science that says that there are so many ways to solve a problem. So it really, really, really depends on your use case. But yeah. And thanks, Jonah, for reminding me of that. And we are going to see it live very soon. So yeah. So now, once you've defined your variable, you actually be able to access your GitHub repository, attaching this variable to your URL. So yeah, that was the last slide when it comes to demonstration. And I guess it's now time to go straight into Azure DevOps. So let's go. Right, so now let me just go to my portal, Azure. It's actually portal.azure.home, portal.azure.com. Yeah. And by the way, I got certified during the training, but I think there are a lot of opportunities out there for you to get certified in Azure for free with the Azure virtual training days. So you can sign up for any of them and then get certified in Azure. It will just give you, I mean, it doesn't hurt to badge these certifications because then it shows that you know a bit about cloud, which is cool. There's actually nothing wrong with knowing a little bit of everything, right? So now you go to your organization, Azure DevOps organization, and then from there you go to Azure. I'm going to my organization. As I told you, I already have one. So I'm just going to that one. From here, you could create an organization. But for the sake of time, let's just continue with the one that already exists. So now let's go. Now I have my projects, and as I showed you the slide previously, you can have a new project. This is the place where you can actually add a new project. We are not going to do that because we already have a project ongoing. So now we can set up pretty much everything that we set up in GitHub Actions or on GitHub. So we can have boards, we can define pipelines, we have flows, we have basically everything. All right, so you have repos. This is what Jonah was talking about. Yeah, Azure DevOps has their own repos, so your code doesn't actually need to be seated here. But yeah, this is what she was referring to. So now let's go to the pipelines because that's where we are. Right. So right now I have a pipeline. I have many pipelines, but you could come and create one here. You could come and create your pipelines here. And yeah, I have three failed, three pipe, three of my pipelines actually failed to run, and it's okay. Sometimes it takes a little bit of effort. Just go through the pain and you learn a lot. All right, so now we will have this. We'll have our pipeline well defined, and maybe we should I'm not going to deploy this pipeline per se, but I'm just going to show you a few steps that you could take that will just make it click in your brain, hopefully. So with regards to the slides that I shared earlier. So when you click on new pipeline, you can set up a new one. Slow internet. It's going to come soon, guys. Just hold on tight. Right. So you choose where your code sits. Where is it? And for me, it's on GitHub. Now you have to select from GitHub because we already granted the access. I already created my organization. I already allowed Azure to access my repo. I've already authenticated everything. So I'm not going to be prompted at this time. But if you were a new person, if you were new to this, you'd be prompted to authenticate before you get access. So now if we take the Hello demo, so you can see that the Azure pipelines you will have to grant access to read, access metadata, to read, write, access to check code, commit, status, deployment, issues, and pull requests. And there will be a suggestion. There are many of them, but because we selected a specific repository, we can just get rid of this and then stick to this one. And if we click and approve to install Azure pipeline, we'll be redirected to our login page. I'm trying to do fast so that we close on time. So then when we click here, you'll be able to go back to your organization and now pick a flow, because there is nothing written in there, right? So I don't actually know the suggestions that will come, but I'm assuming there will be something similar to a very simple flow. Let's just see. Exactly. So over there, you on GitHub Actions, you had a simple flow, but here you have a starter pipeline, and you could actually set it up and review it. If you click on it, you be given a YAML file with a startup plan that will just help you to trigger your build whenever for your continuous integration, whenever you make changes to your this, and you just see it reflecting, and yeah, you can save it and run. And let me just show you the last part, which is the variable, how to set up variables. So you can come here, you add new variable. This is what will help us connect to GitHub, because that's where we are going to put our personal access token. So the convention is GitHub. That's a convention, but it could be any name. Like it could be any name, but it's just a convention. You could name it after you yourself. So GitHub personal access token, and then you can just grab. I'll just say you keep it as a secret, and you can just grab all your personal access token from GitHub, and then when you click OK, this variable will be set, and then when it comes to your deployment script, you will just upload it there. And I'm going to show you that right now. So that's it. Jonah, I'm so sorry I'm taking up so much time. Demo time is always uncertain. All right, so we go back to our pipeline. I don't need to set that. So this is our working pipeline. And at the moment, this is how our site looks like. Where is our React application? Coming. Yep. Let me just. All right. So this is our React application. This was the previous one that we made change to. Now this is our React application, and it says Learn DevOps now. Let me just go quickly, make changes, and see how our pipeline gets triggered, how GitHub Actions and how everything is just getting updated here, right? So let me just open our repository. Yep, which is the last demo. Sorry again, I'm going to share my entire desktop. Look it. All right, so this is it. Let me open it with Bash. I think it's already open. Nope, not this one, not this one. Okay, so I'm opening Git Bash here. No, it's not opening. Okay, just a minute, just 1 minute. All right, I just go the safe way, so I'm not. It worked. So let me open Git Visual Studio Code, and let's make all the necessary changes. Right, so we have our Visual Studio Code is here with our code, and now we want to make some changes. What do I say? Then the DevOps, then Azure DevOps for your own good. Right, so I've just made the change to my local, and I'm just going to switch to Git Bash. Save the changes. Right. Now, let's just wait a minute. Seems like stuff are happening. So let's see what is happening on GitHub over there. Slow internet. Instance of. Okay. So Git status. Let's like to run it for fun. Git add. Okay, it's a bit slow. So it's the usual Git status, Git add, Git commit, Git push. The usual. Git. I just. Okay. Git. Git add first. In all my changes, Git commit. Message will be updated app. Yes. All right. So now it's push this code. All right. So this time around we didn't have it. So let's quickly go to GitHub and look at what is happening to our repository. Last demo. Let me look it quickly. Let's go to repository. Last demo. All right. So yeah, a minute ago, updated app.js. This is what we just did right now. And let's go to our Git, our organization on our pipeline. So you can see that. Let's refresh. Here we have our pipeline is not failing or whatsoever. Everything has run smoothly. Let me just go into it. You see the different jobs that have run in the background, and when you come to check the repository, the React application, if we refresh it, we should see our changes reflected. Let's do this. Come on. Learn Azure DevOps for your own good. Let's go. Something is happening in the background. All right, so let's refresh again. So when it's like this, just go to your GitHub, check. Yep. We can see that everything has been, we can see that the CI has been updated. Now, for some reasons, Azure DevOps. Let's go to the pipeline and see what's going on over there. Okay, so let's run it again. It should run automatically, but let's see. Let me go back. Exactly. This is the jobs. Interesting. So we can see that we have this same error of disabled. Okay, so for some reasons, this is not running now. Amazing. So yeah, but basically, I hope you've learned the basics because this was the whole purpose of this, and it's all part of the presentation. It's okay to go wrong from time to time, and you just have to take the time to debug it whenever you can, because right after that, I'm going to debug it again. I do not know why it's actually behaving this way. So yeah, basically that is it for the presentation, and I hope we can discuss this more in the room because we are running out of time. It's been more than an hour. It's weekend, and I know that you guys want to just have some good time. So yeah.
Yes. Hi, Audrey. Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. Thank you for the great presentation. If the pipeline wasn't broken, we had actually some tips from our audience. As she said, maybe try to open up in incognito mode and do the refresh cache also from TT01, whoever he is. Yeah, but
Wow.
I think I think there was something wrong with the pipeline that needs to be debugged, which kind of like led me to my personal question: how, as a DevOps, I mean, someone developer working with Azure DevOps, how would you debug issues with your pipeline? If, for example, if you're a beginner and you don't know how to start, of course, need to check the error. But do you have any tips for situations like this that the pipeline is broken or something?
Yeah, they are actually, thank you very much for the question. So there are actually little tips. I think Azure DevOps has a way of debugging, and I think it's a Microsoft documentation. So you can just um, well, at some point you should be able to debug it. I don't know. I will share the I'll share the article. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
sure.
found a way
Mm.
to do that. And
Yeah, great.
also for debugging sake, whenever you are trying to run the pipeline, so when you create the first run, there is a button that shows you enable logs or something like that of that sort, and from there you should be able to see all the logs. And also, um, when it comes to your failed jobs, let me just go back to the pipeline. There are several ways that you can actually know about all this. You can come to the failed part. Let me go. Okay, let me just go to that pipeline. With the pipelines, the pipelines. Okay, yes, this is the one. So you can come to manage. No, okay. When you run the pipeline, you can come here, enable system diagnosis. This can really help informing you about whatever is going on behind the scenes and for
Mm.
debugging purposes. And also when you deploy it, you have a button that says view rows, like the entire row. So you will not just have access to that specific part that was broken, but the entire code that was run behind the scenes, and you can actually try to debug it. It
Mm.
would have been great to debug it with you guys, but time.
Yeah, that's great. It's genuine presentation. It's like that's how it works in the real life also. Like, and there's
Yeah.
no perfect pipelines. You
No.
see X's sometimes. You see check. So it's just the real world works in
Yeah.
the software development. So you did great. Thank you so much for your presentation. And do you have any last words or last contact information that maybe you want to share to our audience before we end our session and go to the Zoom after Vika?
Oh, yeah, I do. If you want, you can follow me on social media. Sorry, I'm really bad with slides. Seriously. So you can just look. for me with this name that you see on the screen, Audrey Mungo, and you should be able to find me on any social media.
Yes,
With
and I
this name.
also think on the meetup event page, we also
Yep.
shared your socials there. So yeah, but we will thank you so much. We actually got great feedback from our audience. Very good presentation
Thank you.
and nice presentation. I really enjoyed this. So thank you so much, everyone that spent time with us this lunch to join us. And feel free to, if you have extra 15 minutes or 10 minutes, join us on our Zoom. And we actually have this QR code to scan if you want to join directly. Or you can also go to this link, a bit.ly link, and then the date for today. So yeah, so I guess it's time to say goodbye again for this session, and I apologize for the mute start there, but it's good.
It's part
All
of the
right.
presentation. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, everyone, and see you next 2 weeks for our next session. Have a
Yeah.
great day.
Have a great day. Bye.